walking the paths of our ancestors' feet and listening to the voices that keep our cultures alive. Kamraleng Heritage Podcast, where our stories will forever last.
You know, here is this man with these problems. I went to another branch in Lakeside Mall, because I realized that here in Springs, people could see that this man, what is he trying to do? Even there, where we were trying to work, I could see it did not work out nice. It was not personal. I went to another branch. In the same branch, when they log in, I give them my ID. The moment I give them my ID, they say, we can't help. You must find this charity cause.
Welcome to our Kamraleng podcast, episode 15. We are here at Escotin 1685 remote Ivory Park. Today we have a guest Russell Baloyi. A social entrepreneur, is an environmental activist, is a politician, and is also a person who is advocating social justice. As we know him as a person who was part of the formation and the designing of the Eco Village, which is now in Ivory Park, which is one of the legacies that we are proud of. Today we are welcoming one of the person that is so much passionate about the environmental issues, Papa Rabalebo.
Thank you.
Introduce yourself.
Yeah, no, I think you've done a proper introduction. And if anything, I would appreciate if you can just go straight to my issue that brought me here, because that's what is making me so much next.
Okay. All right. Guest is Russell Baloyi, and then he came here with the issue and all that. So now we are aware of the issue here. It's an issue of banana recycling business, which raises alarm as FnB shuts account and moves to return the legitimate international funds back because of some issues. But before talking about I wanted to ask, because you've just shared something before we started this episode, that you've won a victory. That if you had exported them, the Human Rights Commission, that there was a fight here the part of the African community there in that site. Tell us briefly about that before we get into the real matters.
Yeah. No, it was really not a fight at all. Because if anything, we're driven by love. Love for our people and love for our country. But what we picked up there in Hatebie Sport Dam in particular was that it's a state land. And our feeling was that there were just too many white people who are running business around the dam, and they were not giving space for black people, because we tried to apply, and I was amongst the people who was given the lease to operate my business there by the dam. But when I was going in, we were prevented from operating our business. That's how we decided to group ourselves and say we're going to fight this thing. And trying to engage the department, they were not cooperating. And we had no choice but to approach the Human Rights Commission and the Public Protector. Unfortunately, the Public Protector was sleeping on this thing. They could not see it as something that they could work on. But the Human Rights Commission on the other side did pick up that there was actually an issue to be addressed here of racism. So I'm lucky that we were happy that yesterday the Human Rights Commission came out very clear that yes, indeed, there is discrimination in terms of how the Department of Water and Sanitation is allocating the leases around the dam, with black people being shut out and the white people enjoying the preferences. So I can't even celebrate that victory of yesterday, simply because now my focus has been shifted to my issues with the bank.
Okay. Don't forget to subscribe and like us so that we can grow this community ya our podcast, and then re dutse kaka ba mo re dutse Russell Baloyi
or tlhalosetsa ka maemo and the developments around the Hatfield development, the issue are resisting all that. After 1994, we thought that we are one, but still there are issues regarding they are actually disturbing. They are actually trying to move out from them, but there are issues still in Nyaga. Looking at the whole holistic issue policy and all that, because you are not from there. And everywhere back to an issue because we are in a space recycling businesses, and then we know in every township when you walk around here, you see people there, the waste collectors, the pickers, as you mentioned them. The so-called digital rubbish, but that is being turned to, which is something that is exchanged to money. For us, we are cleaning the environment, you are considering the environment in the site, which is, in fact, we are helping the country, because it shows that you have got the love of your country. If now you just mentioned something about the about the economy in that space. Imagine if one of the fish and the whole dam is so contaminated and polluted, and obviously they will die. When you look at the fish ecosystem, so they will die because they depend on you for you to clean up the environment itself. So take us to the bank. Why did they shut down your account? Because I look at when I read your statement, it was said to say they just virtually just decided to shut down your account. What was the reason behind it? Yeah. Can you take us through?
Yeah, I'm definitely sure that the bank have their own reasons,
yes,
which I'm looking forward to find out. I think from Friday last week, that's when they finally realized that they need to provide an answer, because they literally never gave us any answer in terms of why they're shutting out their account. They just said they suspect fraud, this account is going to be closed, and then the money is going to be returned in 5 to 7 days, which was very much unfortunate. So of course we have our own suspicion in terms of what could have happened. But the reality of it is that I want to take it back in terms of my own suspicion. As you would know, we are into recycling business. And we focus primarily on 3 commodities, which is your waste tire, your aluminum cans, and your plastic bottles, or what is generally referred to as PET. So I think hardly 3-4 weeks ago, we received a very strange visit. Not me, because we're not really at the cold face of this particular business. But our business model is in such a way that we have a group of buyback centers, primarily across Gauteng and some on the other side of our borders. But I'll focus on the ones that we're working with here in Gauteng. So these are the places where these guys that you see on the streets picking up these recyclables, that's where they go and sell the material. And that's a cash business. So when they get there, they want their money on the spot. So
hard cash.
Yeah, hard cash that they will wait and get paid for their material. So it happened that one of our buyback centers called me to say, look, we received, because we were done a promotion to encourage recycling in schools, to say we're collecting cans. And then as we're collecting cans, collect cans, bring them here. Whoever brings the most, they're going to make it to win. But for some reasons, because these guys, they went all out in terms of marketing, it landed at Collect a Can, which is a company dedicating to collecting cans and recycling. One of the executives from Collect a Cans called one of the buyback centers to say, hey, we see this thing saying people must bring the cans. We are the one who are collecting cans. Who are you? We are going to shut you down. You can't say collect a can. Because that's our brand. People will think that they're bringing the material to us when they're bringing it to you. Then when they called me, I said, no, that does not make sense. But anyway, they arranged a meeting with this fellow who happens to be white. He came. The operation is in the township in Davidson. So in the Twatwa in particular. So he came. I was there in the meeting. He put his story to say, look, his executive at Collect the Kenda having a problem with us. Who are we selling this thing to? Because we can't really sell it to anybody else. They are Collect the Kenda. Then I was very much clear to him that, say, listen, we can't say we're collecting bottles or papers. We're not collecting cats. That's what we're collecting. You know? So what can we say? Because that's what we really want people to collect. Because if you look at the value of these recyclables, the aluminum cans are the ones that are more valuable compared to your paper and all of those things. So, and that was the issue. And it was like, okay, can you at least sell it to us? Because the price that these people are selling to you, because these are buyback vendors, they told them that they're selling to us, our company, because we the one, we have made a deal with the Indians in India. Because India, China, as you can see on the road, most of the things that we consume here, they're from India or China. You know, because as you know, in our country, our manufacturing base is very low. So most of these things are beneficiated that side. So we have direct contact with the end users of these recyclables. Because what we have discovered is that the prices that are being offered locally are not good enough. And we managed to make deals at that level to say we'll sell them. So we made it very clear that, look, the reason why we are buying the material from these guys and are exclusively selling the material to us is primarily because we have invested in the business. Because for you to run a buyback center, you need capital to buy the material. If you don't have capital to buy the material, you can't run the business. Now, my partners, who happens to be Indians, they've taken the risk to say, identify the recycling buyback centers that you trust, that you can work with. We can give them an advance to be able to buy the stock so that we can push the numbers. That's why we're able to collect as much as we collect. And we gave the same offer to collect the can to say, look, if you want this material, give us the money in advance. Don't come now today and say you want the material. Give us the money and say in a month you want your 27 tons to fill up a container. We'll give it to you. And they were not willing to do that. And it was like, bye. And I told them that, look, please can you formalize the complaint to us so that we deal with this thing. Which unfortunately never happened. And it happened that we had already pushed some containers of these plastics out to China and some waste tires as well. So that is the money that they paid us that we were supposed to get. You see, from India. As you would know, there is this SWIFT system, the money which is American owned. That is the platform which facilitates that if you pay money from outside, then, and obviously, the money was cleared by the Reserve Bank. Because when our partners sent me a proof of payment that they've paid us, we had to go to the bank to say, people who paid us from outside the country, can we have this money? They said, no, nothing has showed up in our account. Then we're like, okay, can you call your Forex department? And that's when the bank called their Forex department. When they called the Forex department, they said, no, they can't see anything now, but normally it takes about 1 to 5 days for the money to clear. And we're like, no, but that time has already passed. And that's why we're making this call. And they were like, okay, please send your proof of payment to this particular email address, which we sent the email address. Later on, we received an email that confirmed that yes, we received your funds, but we just doing some checks, and then once we're done with the compliance issues, your funds will be cleared.
Okay.
I think an hour later we received another email saying, okay, can you please come to the bank, properly update your account and identify yourself, and then we will clarify, we will give you money. When we went to the bank now, we went to the bank in Spring Small. When we got there, my partner, because he had to travel from India to come back here, because he wanted to make sure that everything is proper, you know. Because we had spent money for him to come here to India. We went there sometime last year together. But now he had to come back here, specifically for this transaction. We had things planned that the money would be here, he would be here, and would be able to do things. So when we get to the bank, they were like, okay, the branch is saying, no, the money does not show up. We have to call Forex again. When we called Forex, I had at least by then picked up that the lady who sent me the emails, Charity called. So I was able to say, can I speak to Charity call? She picked up the phone, like, oh, okay, sir, did I speak to you? I said, no, me and you, we never spoke. You probably spoke to my partner. She's like, oh, okay, no. Then you are compromised, your ID is compromised because we called this number you have here in the bank and somebody answered the phone and they gave us your ID number, so you are compromised. This money, we are going to close this account. We can't trust you because you've just given your number. I'm trying to explain to you that no, it's not just somebody. This is my partner from India. He does not know me outside our business. And we had to build this trust relationship. It was important for me to give him a copy of my ID as part of our agreement. And even when we opened the account, we were very clear that, because he wants safety as well, that we are going to put my number and his number for OTP so that he sees what is going on. Even when we went to set up our internet banking, I had my phone, he had his phone. They set up internet banking on my phone and his phone. So the two of us have always been transacting on this account. I tried to reason with her. She was like, no. We can't do this. You can't give your ID to anybody else. I'm like, this is not anybody else. It's my business partner. I need to know him. Wes is not even from South Africa. He's a foreigner. So that's how she said to me straight out. And I thought maybe it's a threat. I thought it's a threat, but it turned out that that's what really happened. That's how everything got messed up. And mind you, that was just before the G20. We had made some commitment for that money in terms of the G20. You know, because we have the royal and traditional leaderships that will come in as well. Because we wanted to make sure that this whole G20 is not just urbanized, but it also reaches out to rural areas, and the traditional leadership can actually make some benefit out of it. So there was this event at UJ where we were committed to support based on the money that was coming, you know, and unfortunately I could not go anywhere near G20 because suddenly we can't have access to my account. And mind you, not only that account where I'm a partner with the Indians, even my own company where the Indians are not involved. Suddenly we can't access.
Now you are a suspect. You've been profiled.
Exactly.
Please don't forget to subscribe and comment and like us as we are sitting on the hot chair with Abuti Arasel Baloyi. The hopes and the dreams of the township businesses are there to dash because of I don't know whether it's a question of and if you get like your own, one of your own, a sister or a brother, and then you start to question these things for it. Really, if you really know anyway, you should have actually asked maybe people from the above so that you should understand the importance of this money. Because I know as we speak, I think people wondering you are supposed to be actually benefit from this money. They are looking at you to say, what happened to the money? What answers will be given to them?
Yeah. Well, that is my biggest problem, and that's what I've been trying to explain to the bank, to say, you know what, this is not just between me and you. It's not my money. There are people who are working very hard. And as I speak to you right now, we have most of these buyback centers not operational. And it might take a while for them to recover. And they might not recover. Because you see, with the type of customers that we are dealing with, if they come to you with their material to sell, that is our advantage. If they come to us to sell the material, any of our buyback centers, people will guarantee that they will get their money right there and there. Full stop, no stories. You weigh your material, 10 kg, you get your money. If we said we'll pay you 19 rand per kg, you'll get your 19 rand. If we said 20 rand, you'll get that money. You know, so that was the main thing. So now the problem that we're experiencing, especially this week and last week, people have been going to sell, there's no money to buy the material. So you can imagine, some of these guys are not patient. It's just like when there's a train station, and then people go to the station, they say the train is coming at 10, it does not show up. People will go there maybe 2-3 days. Before you know it, they will never go, because they know that that train never comes. And that's where we are now, where the people, our customers, they are probably being taken to other places. So the implication of these things are very serious. And for me, if anything, I want to believe that this charity cause person, I don't know her from a bar of soap. She's probably qualified on something. And if indeed she's qualified or educated, that's where you see that, you know what, sometimes this education is useless. You know, this is where education becomes useless, in the sense that what kind of education fails to make you understand and appreciate that we are a constitutional democracy? You know, we have a terrible history in our country with people being judged wrongly before any trial and punished heavily for that matter. Now you have somebody who's a senior executive at the bank who for some reason believes that she can be the god of everything. Be the prosecutor, be the judge, be the magistrate, be the policeman, right there and there, punish. You see? So if you look at this thing, because I was forced, because one thing about me, when I go through something, I pray a bit. And it's so unfortunate that when this thing happened on Friday, on Sunday when I went to church, my uncle passed on. May his soul rest in peace. And I'm this calm today, and I can be able to deal with things at spiritual level before I go physically, mainly because of him. He made me who I am. I lost him on Sunday, and immediately I had to deal with the fact that I don't have money to give my own uncle a decent funeral. But by God's grace, I have some good associates and friends who came in to say, you know what, we'll give you an advance so that we can at least give this man a decent funeral. And yeah, we did give him a better and decent, dignified send-off. So it's a serious sore on my side, you know, that this thing has happened and literally took my dignity. I have people who look at me today as this tax. Yeah, you know, I walk at the bank there in Springs. They know, here is this man with his problems. I went to another branch in Lakeside Mall, because I realized that here in Springs, people could see that this man, what is he trying to do? Even there, where we were trying to work, I could see it did not work out nice. It was not personal. I went to another branch. In the same branch, when they log in, I give them my ID. The moment I give them my ID, they say, we can't help. You must find this charity cause. I'm like, this charity cause, I don't know her. She has not even a single share in our company. And how on earth did she then suddenly become so important?
And what powers does he hold in the bank?
I don't know. But what I have since done was to read, where is this nonsense coming from? And what I've discovered is that in 2017, the former president, Jacob Zuma, signed something called the Financial Intelligence Center Amendment Bill into law, which literally took away the powers of the police, the judges, and the courts, and housed everything inside the bank. So the bank can see something that is wrong, they can do their own investigation, convict you, find you guilty, and punish you like what they did with us. And I'm saying, this cannot be right. It's completely unconstitutional. And I ask myself that, okay, what kind of leaders do we have sitting there in Parliament who can agree? But I can see there that there were some comments from certain section of our society who saw this thing coming, that no man, this FICA thing is not coming right, because it literally, because this 2017 was predominantly black government. It was very clear that your mayor, your minister, it identified certain people, that those people will be what they classify as a politically exposed person. So the bank must keep a special eye on these people. You know? Meanwhile, there's nothing that says if you're Joseph and many others, you know, you must be washed. They are free to do as they wish. We were colonized. We never colonized anybody. Now we've gone to school. We understand the political and the economic system. We have learned a bit. You know, for me it's even a bit more personal, because I was privileged to have sat with the late President Mandela and former President Clinton when I was a Clinton Democracy Fellow some years back. We traveled to America, and I mean, these two gentlemen, I mean, that's when the relationship between South Africa and America was at its best together. And they took us there to America just to tell us about this democracy. And they made it very clear to us that, you know what, you guys, because I was still very young then, they were like clear to us that you guys, we have selected you to come here so that you can. Back to 2000, when we were busy with the Eco City project, I think you were part of a recycling project. You know? Yeah. Those are the things. I didn't really have as much experience as I have today. You know? But the people that I worked with, the likes of Enisugru, the late mayor of Midrand, Alan Dawson, yes. You know, they were passionate about these things. Yes. And they really worked on me. You know, that's how I never got lost in the system. Now, with their support in some way, spiritually and otherwise, one is able to do this thing. So it's all that period that I spent in the sector, learning and perfecting this thing. Right now, we're able to do it at an international level, so that ultimately, when we say there's BRICS or there's G20, we're not just talking about South Africa as the consumer of things from abroad. You know, because part of our plan is to make sure that we do some beneficiation locally, so that there's some kind of balance of trade in terms of what we buy from outside countries and what we're sending out. That's where we're going. But these are the challenges that we have. So unfortunately, the consultant was very clear to me that they can't do anything for us. They need charity. We try to talk to charity. I asked them, talk to charity. Charity just say, no. I have explained to that man, there's fraud there, the money will be returned. Okay. But one consultant advised me that, you know what, we have a complaint center here as well. just call our complaints department, complain internal. So we've lodged an internal complaint. Parallel to that, we're told to launch a complaint with the ombuds, bank ombuds.
Yeah, I wanted to go there.
You know, so because before that we received finally a decent call from somebody at FnB. Because parallel to that, I got my office to also send email to the CEO of FnB and other executives to say, what is this thing? So I think in response to that, that's when we received a call from somebody at FnB to say, we are sorry. Okay, no, I'm saying fine, sorry is okay. I don't have a problem with your sorry. I want the money. Can I have the money? Because that's all I want right now, because I'm in trouble.
And then what is the answer?
The problem, then they say, no, we're going to investigate. We're going to investigate, but the money has already been returned. They tell me over the phone that the money has already been returned. And I think immediately as we were talking over the phone, they were generating a letter to me to say, they were generating a proof of returning the money back to the sender. Because immediately after dropping the phone, I received the email that says the money has been sent back. And when I check on the reason for sending the money back, there's no reason provided. I checked with my people that side. Even yesterday, I was talking to them. They have not received the money. But they tell me that they have received some correspondence that speaks that kind of language, that there might be money coming back. And this thing messes up our whole model, because it looks like they have to do their own investigation that side to say why did the money get returned, because there's no reason provided. So from Monday this week, that fellow from FnB, John somebody, has been saying he will call me back, he will call me back. He's been calling me just to say we're still investigating. Every day we'll call you. It's only yesterday that he did not call to say we're investigating. We'll call you when we are done. And my issue is investigating what? How on earth you find me guilty on the spot, punish me, and then start with the investigation? That's my problem. Because if you look at our constitution, because we're told that our constitution is the best in the world, worldwide celebrated and all of it, simply because of one basic thing: we are all equal. We are all equal before the law, and we are all innocent until proven guilty. But in that case, that was rubbished completely on my side. And I asked myself why. So that's why now I'm on this speculative mode, and I suppose my skin does not help, because it raises question. This darky from here, what is he doing with the Chinese? Because it's them who must be the middlemen of facilitating our trade with other countries.
Okay, don't forget to subscribe and like and comment. South Africa hosting the G20, it was well celebrated, and people said good things about and hosting such a global summit. And as also championing the African agenda, leading as a leading frontier of growth. You mentioned something about the inclusive of the global trade rules, which is now we are talking about that, to say where are we as in terms of benchmark as technology businesses, and with the banks looking at the issue of inclusivity in terms of economy, accessing to the funds. If now we are getting money from outside this terrain, and then it becomes a problem, and after 1 year in our democracy, and the black person must serve in this manner. What would you take from here?
Yeah, well, I think most township business, unfortunately, and that's where you see that our government is not serious about transformation. It's just not serious about transformation. Because the instruments that they've adopted so far especially if you look at the instruments that have been adopted to protect the local economy. It does not protect us as black people. As black people, you're supposed to be playing at some low level where you are in the value chain, you are supplying to these white people businesses. The moment you want to go international, it becomes a problem. You can talk about, you can pick any person who's doing business here in the country, ask them, what is iTech? Chances are they don't even know what is iTech. And the moment you want to go international trade, iTech is waiting for you. We just went through the iTech troubles. Once, as we were achieving that hey, now we can trade international. Because iTech is the body, it's actually called the International Trade Administration Commission. It's one of the entities under the DTI. So they are the one, because SARS will give you some payment, does not necessarily allow you to send anything out. But if you are sending anything out, you need the iTech payment, import-export payment. That's where you get it. And getting it, there are certain goods that they have been earmarked that you cannot just take them out of the country. You must supply the domestic market. Who's the domestic market? Exactly. You know? So, and you can see that is one spot easy. Government can say, if you are a white business, you want this export permit, if you are not compliant to our BEE laws, properly, not this fronting, because that's one of the biggest problems that we have, that most of these BEE players, they don't know about business. I mean, in the recycling sector, I don't want to mention names. I've come across people saying, hey, we are into this tire recycling business. I'm like, oh, you're into tire recycling business. How many pieces are you cutting your tires? I mean, how come you are a shareholder and then you don't even know?
That's fine.
You know, how many tires are you loading in your container? Is you are shooting? No idea at all. Then you see that this is the troublesome BE that we have, you know. But you have people like ourselves and many others who are really involved in the sector, they understand the value chain, who can really take the BE stake and add value to the business. Not just to go and get paid. Because some they just BE, they have an office in something and just to receive their dividend. That's all. They're not involved in the actual operation. With us, we are involved in the operation, and that's where it becomes a problem. Because they're not used to us running around and doing the management and operation. They're using to this other color, being the one that is doing all these things. Now, when there's this Baloyi showing up in their system, it's like, who is he? What's special about him? That's why they can easily crash it to say on the spot, you don't even need to investigate. This thing is guilty, must be punished immediately. So that is the unfortunate part, that people, as much as they're doing business, it's just at the low end of the value chain. The system are not geared to support people to play a role at another level where they can begin to make serious money. Because I can tell you now, I mean, the amount of jobs we can create if the systems were to be in place and government is serious to listen what needs to be done to create jobs.
The next question would be, are you not going to be looking at the issue, maybe taking the bank to open a case against the bank? Because now you are now being classified as a person cannot be trusted by any financial institution. For you to redeem your identity, you need to find a way to say, if the bank is securely keep on doing that, you are not going to have access to your money and anything that is going to do with feeding your family.
Yeah. No, you're very much correct. That is a must, you know, especially if I had opportunities to steal. I had opportunities to steal, but I chose not to steal, you know, because I'm not driven by money. We like what we are doing. We are clear because we're not taking chances. We know the value chain. We know our stakeholders in our business. And that is why I'm very much pained that suddenly we're being pointed at as these criminals. So, and the interesting part is, I mean, if I were to show you messages on my phone of people with their cries, especially in relation to their different experiences with the banks. Banks doing as being the law unto themselves. You know, people's hard-earned money and assets being disorganized completely by the banks without any consultation. It's a serious problem that on my part, unfortunately, it will be my birthday, and I was hoping that it will mark the end of my involvement in the struggle and social justice thing, so that I can at least finally be selfish and build something just for my children and my family, because I mean, for almost good part of my life, I've been very much involved in the struggle. Now I was just saying, you know what, this marks the end of it. But unfortunately, it looks like the struggle continue. I still have to be more involved because there is just no way that I'm going to leave the bank. And that's why I decided to do that press statement. You know? And some people call me and they try to explain, what is going on? I'm like, everything I've written there. You know, if there's anything you can do, take it forward, because I've identified who is the problem and what is my side of the story. And you can please go with pleasure and find out FnB and charity cause. And there's too many people who are suffering in silence. So, and unfortunately, as you would know, if you want to fight the bank, we just had the case now of the police called me fellow, you know. Imagine how long it took him to get that victory. Because fighting these big companies, they have lawyers that they are paying every month. Because they know they're doing wrong things every day, every second, actually. So they have lawyers that they are paying every day. So some of us, we know we don't take chances. We do our things legitimately, with pride, and we make sure that people are important stakeholders of our business. You know, be it you are a supplier or a client or the community in general, you form part of our key stakeholders. So we respect everybody. So chances of us being taken to court are very slim. So that is why we never saw this coming and booked a lawyer to say we'll pay you every month, as and when we have problems, you will come in to help us. So now I need that money for me to take them to court, which unfortunately I can't until somebody volunteer to say, look, here we are, we support your case with the bank. That's really where we are. Because when I look at this thing and analyze it, I realize that it has so many dimensions and it's got so many implications, and it's just not my case. I just happen to be the face of it today. But tomorrow it can be you, as you are sitting here, comfortable with your beautiful shirt and shoes. You know, you can go there to the ATM, papa, money is not coming. Then you go to the bank, they say, You say, it's my money. They say, no, we can't assist you. Right there and there, you are going to be demoralized. Yeah. And that's what happened with us.
Okay. For the people that are watching you, and what will you actually be saying to them in terms of assisting you in this regard?
Yeah, I suppose they need to actually approach this call for the amendment of our banking legislations, because this is not about me. They need to make a clear call for the amendment of the banking legislation so that they begin to protect all of us. It can't be that the banks, for example, with this FICA law, are allowed to be law unto themselves. The police must be there. The courts must be there to play their role. You know, can you imagine if you go to Pick n Pay, because sometimes you are very tasty, you go there, the queue is long, you take a drink there, you drink as you walk to the till, and they start beating you up to say you've stolen. And then later on you tell them, no, but I have money, I'm thirsty, I've just taken my pills, because I'm not well. The queue is too long, I can't jump people. That is why, even they can't do that. They have to satisfy themselves that you have stolen, you had no intention to pay, and that can be proven outside. It's not there. You can't be a referee and a player at the same time, which is what the banks are right now. It's wrong, it's unconstitutional. That's really the essence of it. So I think people need to call, especially the DTIC, Ministry of Finance and the Presidency. You know, unfortunately, with a case like this one, you can't go to the public protector because they are more looking at the state. But I think there's a case for human rights here, because my rights have been seriously violated. You know, my economic rights, not only mine. I mean, so many people who are dependent on our business are suffering as a result of this thing.
All right. With that said, let's conclude our show by saying the struggle continues. Justice delayed is justice denied, but we will continue helping many people to represent themselves and to have their voice heard. I thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
South Africa is a great destination for conferences. We have great infrastructure, state-of-the-art conference centers. We've got amazing people that will show you around our beautiful country, whether you want to go to the beach or you want to go to Kruger National Park. We have amazing food, we've got beautiful beers, we have it all. So you have to come visit South Africa.
I am an African. I owe my being to the hills and the valleys, the mountains and the glades, the rivers, the deserts, the trees,